Hello everyone. As he clears his throat, I apologise for any assaults upon your ear rolls that was. And welcome back to Hearts of Iron 3, the German campaign. So as you can see, I've been scribbling all over my map, as indeed I am wanting to do. And so you can see all of that. Now, one question that was asked in the previous video is how can we actually do this? Now, this is available in the latest update, which is their finest hour. So I think it was Semper Fidelis before that, and then their finest hour. So as long as you get all those DLCs, you'll have this ability to create what's known as battle plans. So you can see, hide and show those, so you can see what you can actually do. Is if we open this one, is this the one we're looking at? Yeah. Okay, so if we save that as grand plan, okay, overwrite that. Now what you can actually do is we can go into here, current plan, and remove that. No, we won't delete it. But what you can do is you can do things like, for example, yes, here we go. So, no idea what that, no idea what that is. Oh, there we go. See, look. So you've got all these things, see? So you can. So let's see. Let's get rid of that one. And let's get rid of that one. Let's get rid of that one. Okay. So. No, cancel that. So essentially what you can do is you can load historical plans. So there we go, you see? So first wave, second wave, advance enough for the Brits to surrender, and then obviously have all this stuff down here. So, you know, you can see here all the pushing in and how that works and everything. Now, I have a funny feeling the grand plan... No, it's there. See, grand plan's there. That's good. So, what we'll do then is we'll take out all of these plans, like so. Okay, and then we'll load in the grand plan. So, there is the grand plan. As you can see, you know, all that stuff that I did in the previous episode. We haven't really focused on Africa yet. Now, let's see. If we change that to yellow for the time being. Now, what we've got to think about is how we're going to do Africa. Now, it could be that we either come through that way and tack that way, or what we could do, depending on the success of this campaign here, maybe move down into Greece like that, and then use that as a stepping stone to go into Turkey, round by Palestine and where Israel is going to end up, into Egypt, and then push along from Egypt all the way along until we get to the likes of Tripoli. And there's Tunis in there, so a little diversion in there. And I think, is that Tripoli there? No, Algiers. Isn't Tripoli along here somewhere, I think, anyway. So that could be the situation that we're looking at, that sort of African push. So maybe you might end up pushing into Spain, because obviously what happens is the fascists end up in control of Spain. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, so that's how you do all the plans. So this is what options you've got available. So let's see what our victory conditions are. Now, we're in as the Axis. So, Operation Sea Lion. Okay. So, London is controlled by us. Birmingham, Liverpool, right. Barbarossa. Oh, goodness me, that's a big one. Axis control Moscow, Stalin, Leningrad. Port Moresby, Shanghai, Batavia, Honolulu, Singapore, Malta, Gibraltar, Paris. So the likes of all down here. See, this Gibraltarian area here means we could then push into there. So at this current moment, what we need to decide is, you can see the production of the Graf Spee is continuing. Now, you can see there are U-boats being produced. You can see they've got no requirement for additional info, and what we've done is, if you go into diplomacy, we've automated trade. So trade should continue. Now, you can see here in the Allies, we're the only member of the Allies at this current moment. Now, you can see Axis, sorry, I'm only a member of the Axis. So we've got a surplus of energy, surplus of metal, deficit of raw materials, deficit of supplies, and big deficit of fuel. So fuel is going to be a major issue for us. So let's see. Now, obviously what I'm doing at the moment is focusing on submarines and tanks. Shut up, phone. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because tanks are going to have to lead the spearhead into the likes of these places. Czechoslovakia, Sudetenland, into these areas of Austria for the Anschluss and all that kind of thing. So you can see here, that is the Anschluss of Austria. So you can see there, Austria is at peace, not a member of any faction. We need at least X amount of popularity above 40. So we need to check that. Political crisis in Austria. Right, okay. So, number of brigades currently 220. We're at peace with France. We're not allied with France. And you can see that Karlust is in... Okay, so I need some of these... Okay. Now, see, these are all helpful things, but I'm not sure if I'm actually going to need them now. What I do need to do is Asia and Japan. What I want to do is to influence them. And I also want to influence the Italians. Oh, actually, no, the Austrians. Get them to move towards me. And Italy as well. Now, obviously, that means that a certain amount of diplomatic influence will be removed as a result of that. Now, you can see here, it's prioritising production at the moment. So I've got to keep that good. And as you can see, production needs 1616 is 168 at the moment. So we're not worried about reinforcements. And Lend-Lease and consumer goods is required in order to keep people happy. So you can see that's going on there. So we have aluminium, we have clippity-clops, we have antibiotics, and we have ball bearings. Ah, the Schweinfurt ball bearing factory. And there we go. So we need more diplomacy. We can ramp those research projects down. These guys could do with a little bit more officerhood or officerness. So there we go. So these ones, you know, means I can't research everything, but everything will be slowly researched over the course of time, which is essentially the direction that I am looking to go. So you can see tank reliability, submarine engineering research, mobile, naval engineering research, and then we'll play around with these as we go so that we can essentially get the levels of research up. Now, obviously, I've got maximum amount of active domestic spies. Let's see, what is the popularity of the NDAPs? Where are we? Oh, it's because I'm looking in England, you idiot. So, you can see I've got medium amount of spies there. But in Europe, I've got maximum amount of spies in Austria and France and Poland, the Soviet Union and the United Kingdom. So, that's not going too bad. Now, excellent. We're now using our diplomatic influence on Japan, Austria and Italy. Now, apparently that is 2 years ahead, and more efficient laws can be enacted. Mixed industry as industrial policy. So if we look here, do we have the option to do it? We cannot afford the associated costs. Okay, well that's fair enough. Now, as you can see here, the NASDAQ, they're looking pretty okay. They're at 55%. So, as you can see, they've got 39% there. This government has no elections. Yeah, welcome to socialism. No, I'm kidding. So, North America. So obviously, let's see. Now, we won't try and influence them. So at the moment, we're their highest threat. See, at the moment, if you look here, France, highest threat is Germany. Nepal, all these guys, the highest threat is us. Now, Germany also is the highest threat. They're allied with Mongolia and Tuva. So, as you can see, non-aggression pact. That's because they don't like us enough. So their threat to us, our threat to them, in current relations is 0. So let's see. Offer trade agreement to buy nothing per day. See, you can say we'd like to buy all of these, but they won't. So what we need to do is find out in Comturn. So they have a surplus of energy, surplus of metal, surplus of raw materials, a surplus of oil, a deficit of supplies, deficit of fuel, and a surplus of money. So really, they're not actually in need of money now. Drifting towards the Allies, South Africa, Ethiopia is drifting towards the Axis, which is us down here. Liberia, yeah, with that kind of thing. We'll see. Okay. So, we're going to unpause it and we're going to get underway with stuff. You can see there's not really much I can do at the moment. See, here's all the various theatres. They don't need anything. These guys here. Let's go to them. So it's these guys here, I guess. So if we look here, let's build those. So then in production, you'll have Panzer Division OB West. And they will actually be automatically deployed straight into the right location. Now, what options do we have on division? So you can see we've got infantry, we have mountain, we have the Waffen SS. Let's see, cavalry, militia, armoured car, tank destroyers, RT, engineer, military police. So that's not too bad. See, now what we can do is you can say Panzer 1936, which is that. We can always close that down and say infantry 1936. Now, Gebirgsjäger. Right, so it's mountain troops. Air landing, paratroopers, which we have some. Do we? No, we don't have paratroopers for some reason. Panzer 1941. And Panzer 1943. Those big old buggers. So you can see here, combination of army and then obviously combined arms for combat. So what you could do is you could have light armour, infantry, artillery. What's that? Anti-tank. And then an engineer for support, where we got 5, and then you would get a 15% combined arms bonus, which is nice. So you can see these are all the various combat wit, the hard attack, soft attack, piercing is attack. So they're reasonably okay, they don't attack that hard. So, you can see they're alright, 5%. See, 0%, air landing, 1941, 5%, 5%, and then these are individual templates that we can set accordingly. So, let's see. So there we go, there's Austria. Okay. So put some into there. So that's subtle presentation, improve the organisation of our ruling party. So I'll put some in that. No, actually, do ignore that. So we'll leave that there. See, 20 covert points, so let's put that up to full. And then see if we can generate some covert points from there. So, let's just put that up to 2 or 3. Let's see. Okay. Oh. That's interesting. Sweden's quietly taken steps to align themselves to the Axis. Ah, look at that. That could be interesting. Sweden's down there. Big country. Stockholm over here. Just on the edges of the Baltic. Wow, okay. So, that could turn out to be very interesting indeed. 3-year draft can be acted as conscription laws, really? Okay, we cannot afford it. So we've only got X amount of money. And so you can see here, that's changing. And that's staying the same, so you see metal. Okay, that's fine. So, you can see here now the panzer divisions are being in the process of being built, which is good. And who wants this? Screw it. You guys can have that as well. So, see, what I'm trying to do is figure out the best way to do this. So here's the submarines. But the thing is, I can't really do anything because I'm not at war with anyone yet. Ah, good old Copenhagen. Okay. How are politics with the Dutch? Sorry, the Dutch. The Danish. Let's see. Europe. Denmark. Social Democrats. Okay. No. So, this is what we can build. We can build transports, we can build submarines. Type 7 class, which are quite good. I want to build a good collection of those. So as you can see, nice collection of submarines. So I can use those guys to stranglehold onto the enemy. So let's make sure, yeah, they're all okay. That's alright. Okay. So the thing is, until the actual battles get underway, this is pretty much what it's going to be. Now, let's see. Let's sort out our organisation, shall we? To be honest, that's pretty well organised. I'm quite happy with that. And that's also then well organised. I don't think we need to do much in that respect, as there's nothing I can really do. We do have these guys here. What the hell is going on here? So this yes, of course. So this must be, where's it gone in the... Is it diplomatic or the politics mode? Yeah. So that is a little section that has now been carved out by this section of Poland here. And Danzig there. So, we will need to get that back at some point. But at what point is that going to occur, we'll have to wait and see. So, as you can see here, economy. Dortmund generating the best now. Who's generating? See, only Hanover is generating any oil whatsoever, which is part of the problem we have. So here's Czechoslovakia. Now, Europe. Czechoslovakia, as you can see. So let's see. Can we increase the threat? I think we need to do that. There we go. Okay. So these guys are creating garrisons. Albert Le Brun, Albert Sarraud, Flandin, Francois Darlan. Yeah, pretty tough choice to make, isn't he? Chief of Staff, Gamelin. So the Gamelin is Chief of Staff and Chief of the Army, so... Okay. Ooh. Switzerland. Notorious for being independent, I suppose you could say. Well, I wouldn't say notorious, but known for being independent in that respect and maintaining neutrality. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out for them, won't we? So, God, look at that. Big the Soviet Union is. That is insane. Look at that. It's massive, man. I wonder there's like 300 million people in there. And most of them are kind of living sort of up to about there, I guess. Well, there are some down here and stuff like that, and down in Mongolia, but good God, that is just wrapping your head around that. That's one thing that the German soldiers, when they were in Barbarossa, they said, desolation. Just, you go over a hill, and there's just more crops, and more crops, and more crops, and just more. And then you go over another hill, and there's more, as far as the eye can see. And as a result, some of the soldiers are getting very melancholy as a result of that. So there's Estonia, Latvia, home of the TF2 medic, we all know and love. Here's Riga. And you've obviously got Lithuania here as well. Okay, so time is still ticking, so it's not looking too bad. Let's have a look at that. The espionage level, spies level is down to 0, so we need to put that espionage level up a little bit. And then what we'll do is we'll lock it at about 12, yeah, about there. And you can see here the tank reliability is continuing. So if we click on that, you can see here tank reliability there, and you can see increases toughness, mechanical toughness, and all the rest of that. So you say fewer losses when attacking. It is unreliable, so more rugged designs, more reliable designs essentially. Self-propelled artillery, fantastic stuff. So here is all the other bits and pieces. You can see here the small arms division, you can see the infantry division has been researched. I mean, we could build light artillery as well, and then we've got the option. See, small arms are training, can improve the units, infantry support weapons like machine guns, anti-tank weapons like the old thing there. The thing is, see, I'm thinking about whether or not I need to just include this, because at the moment I'm focusing on the tanks, but I'm really thinking that I need to focus on the troops as well, because we are in 1936, but most of this stuff here I have been focusing on because it's been like 1918 levels. So submarine engineering research is at a 1918 level, and it's only level 1 for research, you know. So maybe let's have a look, and that's at level, well, that's difficulty 0. So I'm thinking we need to put those in as well. And then what we'll do is we will move that up to the top, that to the top. There we go. So they all get moved to the top, and they'll then also be investigated and trained. As you see, they're up to level 2 of 2. Let's see what this one's up to. You see that's 2 of 12. Sorry, not 2 of 2. 2 of 12. So it means that obviously we can get increased toughness as we go. So you can see there is 10 skill in infantry theory, which impacts the research by 30%, and then infantry practical and things of that nature. So this is the kind of stuff that we want to look at. See, infantry warfare research. See, it reduces the decay of infantry theory. So submarine engineering research is one of the ones we're doing. So we'll put that one in as well. There we go. Oh no, it was already in there, wasn't it? Oh, dope. Oh well, it's in there now, even further. Let's move that down to there. Okay, so you've got all this kind of stuff to worry about, electronic, chemical, but mainly mechanical engineering. And then we don't need to worry about that for the time being. So there's nothing really much else I can do except for continue while the ticker continues to tick, until such time as some of my production is completed and the threat level of the enemy is starting to improve. So you've obviously got these guys here. Is it here or is it Houtenberg? There we go. The Schleswig-Holstein. It's a battle cruiser. And let's see. G7 class destroyers, which is okay. That's fine. And over here, which is there, I'm guessing. No, there. No? Where the hell are they? Okay. Ah, there we go. So we've got the heavy cruiser, Admiral Scheer, Nuremberg, Leipzig, Königsberg, Karlsruhe, Köln, and Zestorer Geschwader. I don't know, I'm sorry, I apologise to my German viewers. I do hope my pronunciation does not offend. Or at least not too much anyway, no more than I offend you normally. So, those guys, see, these are capital ships, screens and others. Okay. So these guys are the... See, there's Albrecht. But what was Raider? See, there's Raider, he's a level 4. And that guy's a superior tactician. Which is good news. Max command 30 ships. So we could start adding ships to that. We could even consider putting the Graf Spee in there. Now, if I'm right in thinking, the Graf Spee was a pocket battleship. But I guess we'll find out. As you can see, there is production going on. Tank regiments coming out to cover OB West and OB East, I guess you could call it. So let's just call them what they are being called. So, East, West. So then, there you go, West and East. That makes life easier for me. So you can see the trade routes are in there. And we are continuing to trade, which is good. Now, Interceptor. Messerschmitt Bf 109D. A beautiful, beautiful piece of equipment. So you can see basic aero aero engine, fuel tank, single engine aircraft armament. Okay, so on the carrier air group are these guys, the Heinkels. The strategic bombers are the Ju-89. Naval bombers, of course, the Flying Pencil, the Dornier. And the Do-17. The Junker Stuka. And of course the Ju-52. Now I notice we don't have the Heinkel 111 in here, which is a shame. But I guess that will be as we improve things. And the thing is, those guys will be kind of important. Air-launched torpedoes, twin-engine armament. So they can shoot back at enemies, okay. Strategic bomber armament, yeah, that's fair. Larger bomber, also fair. I'm wondering if it's because of these things. I cannot remember. I don't think the Heinkel 111 had 3 engines. Or, no, 4 engines. I think it only had 2. So there you go. So that could also be done. See, medium fuel tank. See. There's that. Medium bomb practical, tactical air power focus. Okay. You can see this is a basic bomb, which we've got at the moment. That slows it down, doesn't it? Okay. So the basic fuel tank, the twin engine airframe, and then obviously we're researching basic bomb and this one here to get it up to a better level. Okay. So there's not really much else we can do. We are researching everything. We are organised the army. We are building up the fleet. As you can see, the Graf Spee will be ready on March the 16th, followed out there by what looks like destroyers and submarine flotillas. Everything is remaining relatively okay. Production is a little bit above what it needs to be, but that's fine. And then after, obviously, those submarine flotillas, out come the panzers, and then we've got the U-boats also then coming out, flotillas coming out as well. So there's nothing really else I can do at the moment. Now these guys here are saying that they need one of these, and well, let's see, where are these guys? Okay, so these guys here, you can see now you've got these forts. Who's he? Infantry regiment. So let's see. Yeah, you can see there is a reserve unit. Okay, that's fine. So they're reserves, and these guys are reserves too. So you can see here the Armored Corps leading on to these guys as well. You can see these fellows also in as reserves. So what we will need to consider doing, if we're going to, the thing is, also somebody mentioned why are we not attacking Holland, and that's a possibility that we could also consider. Now if we were to look at what our options are for attacking Holland, we could see, the thing is, there's a fort there. See, I was thinking if we went in that way, whoops, that's a bit too big. Okay. So if we went in that way, like so, let's see. There we go, slim dashed arrow, there we go. So, oh, okay. Okay, so if we go to here, delete that, whoops, no, delete that, and delete that, and then go that way, like so. So I was thinking of going that way, but there's a fort that's going to be in the way. So what I'm thinking is maybe in that way, and then that will give us obviously the port over here of Amsterdam and a pretty good harbour area. See, all this area here. Ah, gooda. And then obviously down here, and we can then use them to push in to France through Belgium. So we may not even have to actually do that, and we might be able to just go and then just go in, take these forces out from behind, impose our terms on France, and go from there. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. So we'll leave that on actually, because that's quite a nice little thing to have. You can get an idea of the plans and the battles and all the rest of it. So let's close that, we don't need that. Okay, last year, entire conflict, blah blah blah, we've lost nothing. Bombers done no damage. No. We do not need to worry about that, but as you can see, the ticker is still progressing. And we are proceeding with our technology research, all proceeding well. Our production, also proceeding very well. In about a month, we should have the Graf Spee. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been this week's episode of Hearts of Iron 3. I hope you've enjoyed. As we begin the small, or the slow I should say, build up towards war. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. I'll see you next time for more Hearts of Iron 3. Take care.